Hello everyone, hope you all are doing well. So today we are going to discuss the next question of our agriculture optional answer writing practice series. And the question for today is, how do plants absorb nitrogen from the environment? Okay, and describe the mechanism of nitrate assimilation and synthesis in amino acid synthesis of amino acids of plants in plants. Sorry. So you can divide the question in two parts. In the first part, we have to discuss how do plants absorb nitrogen from environment, and in the second part, we have to describe the mechanism of nitrate assimilation and synthesis of amino acids in plants. How nitrate is assimilated and how synthesis of amino acids is happening in plants. So this question was asked in this year's agriculture optional paper of UPSC Civil Services examination, that is in 2024. So let's see how we can approach the answer. So obviously in introduction part you can mention something about nitrogen, because all the questions, if you see all the parts of the questions, it is related to nitrogen only. So you can mention that yes, nitrogen is an essential macronutrient required for synthesis of amino acids, required for synthesis of amino acids, proteins, nucleic acids, chlorophyll, and many other secondary metabolites. Chlorophyll and many other secondary metabolites. This is how you can kind of introduce your answer. Okay. Now let's move to the first part of the question, that is how nitrogen is absorbed from the environment. Absorption of nitrogen. Okay. Absorption of nitrogen from the environment. So here you can mention various things. So I think you should first of all mention in which forms nitrogen is absorbed. Okay, forms. In forms there are mainly three forms in which nitrogen is absorbed. First one is the nitrate form. Second one is the ammonium form. And third one is the other minor sources you can mention here. Third one from other minor sources. Other minor sources such as amino acids, urea, or atmospheric N2, from atmospheric N2 directly. So this is how you can kind of plants absorb nitrogen. And the main form absorbed by most of the plants is nitrate only. But some plants also, many plants also absorb nitrogen in the form of ammonia, directly in the form of ammonia. Okay. So this is how kind of absorption of nitrogen takes place. The process is, you all know that, active process and passive process. That is active process, that is against concentration gradient. Okay, it is against concentration gradient, and here ATP is consumed, while is passive absorption is occurs with along with the concentration gradient, not against but along, and here ATP is not used. So these are the two process on which you can highlight. I am not going deep into active and passive process. I have various separate videos on it. You can see that, and you can add some points, 1 2 points if you want to. Okay. You can also mention that it has, after it is been absorbed, it is stored in vacuole in the plants. Vacuoles of the plants. Okay. Vacuoles of the plants. Generally, nitrate is kind of stored in vacuoles, and this nitrate in the after vacuoles it is reduced to ammonia in roots and leaves for assimilation. You can also mention about the uptake processes. These are the processes, but you can mention about here about the pulses in legume crops, rhizobium, association is there, and that also helps to take nitrogen for plants. So all these things can be mentioned in absorption of nitrogen. Okay, and if you highlight all these points, all these forms, all these lingos, you will get a good amount of marks. So this is the first part of the question. I am not diving deep into it because you can see this question was only 10 marker in 2000, not 2024. It was held in 2025, and it was only 10 marker. Okay, so and it is divided into two parts. So in first part you can mention all these things, you will get good marks. Now in the second part we have to discuss the, first of all we have to discuss the mechanism of nitrate assimilation. So here from here the real games start. In the first part everyone had something to write, but in the second part if you didn't have conceptual clarity, there was nothing to write. You have completely gone blank or either written anything rubbish for which you are not getting marks. So you should know what nitrogen assimilation is, and you should have a proper conceptual clarity on it. Second part is mechanism of nitrogen assimilation. So what is nitrogen assimilation? First of all, you will have to understand it. So nitrogen assimilation is conversion of nitrogen, or you can say conversion of inorganic nitrogen to organic forms. This is what nitrogen assimilation is. We have to convert the inorganic nitrogen to organic forms, or you can, in detail you can mention that here the nitrate is converted to ammonia so that it can be incorporated into organic molecules, so that it can be converted or incorporated into organic molecules. So this is what nitrogen assimilation is, conversion of inorganic nitrogen to organic forms. Now if you see, so this has two processes. In first of the process, nitrate is converted into nitrite. Okay, I am drawing it. I hope you understand this. Okay. So there are two steps. In the first steps, nitrate is converted to nitrite, and in the second step, nitrite is converted to ammonia. Nitrite is converted to ammonia. This is what nitrogen assimilation is. Okay. So what happens in the first step when nitrate is converted into nitrite? The location is cytoplasm. It happens in cytoplasm. And one thing you must ensure that you should write that the enzyme here used is nitrate reductase. Enzyme is nitrate reductase. Now, when there is nitrite is converted into an ammonia, again here the location is chloroplast. Chloroplast in leaves and plastids in roots. Okay, plastids in roots. And here the kind of the enzyme used is nitrite reductase. Nitrite reductase. So this is the process of this is the mechanism of nitrogen assimilation. That is conversion of, here you can see nitrate in inorganic forms converted into ammonia so that it can be incorporated into organic forms on organic organs. So this is what nitrogen assimilation is, and I hope you will be able to now write this properly. It was a very easy thing, very conceptual thing, but because if you see nitrification, there is ammonia is converted into nitrate, but it is just kind of opposite, or you can say something different from nitrification, where nitrate is converted into ammonia. So this you should remember, and I think now you will be able to write a good answer on it. Now if you see, another part in this question is the synthesis of amino acids in plant. So we will take into it, that is a synthesis of amino acids. Synthesis of amino acids. So this synthesis is through kind of GS Gogard pathway. Okay, So kind of you can say that ammonium is sometimes ammonium formed is toxic, but it must be incorporated into organic acids, into organic organs very quickly, to organic compounds very quickly. So for that conversion, we need synthesis of amino acids, synthesis of ammonium. So the process is, actually there are two processes. The first process is GS-Gogard pathway. This is the main pathway, and here GS means glutamine synthesis. I am actually showing you the reaction. You will be now easily able to understand. So in this process, what happens in GS process? What happens? NH4 plus glutamate plus ATP gives rise to glutamine plus ADP plus pi. P plus P. So this is the GS pathway. Now what happens in Gogard pathway? This glutamine is used. So glutamine plus 2 2 ketoglutarate plus NADPH gives 2 glutamate plus NADP. So this is how this is the Gogard pathway and this is the GS pathway. This is how GS Gogard pathway works. Okay. First of all, here you can see NH4 is converted into glutamine, and NH4 and with glutamate has converted into glutamine, and this glutamine and is again converted into 2 glutamate plus NADP. So this is the kind of GS Gogard pathway. Now second process through which it is done is transamination. I hope you understand this Gogard pathway. It is easy. You will, if you revise it 3-4 times, you will remember it. Okay, just write down the reactions. Actually, it is known GS Gogard because it is a kind of combination of two pathways. This is GS and this is Gogard pathway. So that is, you should remember this. Now the second method is transamination. Here the enzyme which is used is transaminase. So what is the reaction here? Here if you see the reaction here, amino acid plus alpha keto acid, or you can alpha glutamate, which I mentioned, alpha keto acid converts into another amino acid plus alpha keto acid. For example, here we have glutamate as amino acid. It can be converted into another amino acid, that is, for example, aspartate. It can be easily converted into aspartate. So this is how transamination works. Okay, that is conversion of amino acids. Okay, from one amino acids to another, so that it can be incorporated into organic compounds. Although glutamate can also be incorporated, but it is converted into another forms also. So this is the second process. So this is how amino acids can be synthesized. So this was all the parts of the question and we have discussed, and in conclusion you can mention that plants absorb nitrogen mainly as nitrate and ammonium, but through a series of enzymatic reduction it is kind of assimilated and then it is kind of incorporated into organic forms. So this is how you can mention, you can conclude. So I hope you understand all the parts of the question. You understand majorly what nitrate assimilation is and what is the synthesis of amino acids happening. So that is all for today. If you like it, please press the like button. Please do share and please do subscribe. It takes a lot of hard work to make such videos for you on regular basis. And if you like, if you share, if you subscribe, it gives us a lot of motivation to make such videos for you on regular basis.